Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, do you want to?
Sorry. I'll let you.
Next one.
I'm excited and I feel relaxed and I'm ready to party. Don't say sorry. You don't need to do that. You don't need to apologize. It's a fucked up female habit. You don't need to be sorry for anything ever.
Can you guess what every woman's worst nightmare is?
I don't have rage issues.
I have nothing to prove to you.
When I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
I say when it comes to stardom and Lauren, there are no accidents.
Hi, Karen Peterson.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Citizen Dame, the podcast where we're fine. We're so fine. Oh my God, we're just the finest people in the world. I am Lauren Humphreys Brooks, and with me, who's also fine, is Karen Peterson. Hello, Karen.
Totally fine here. Everything's fine.
Everything's good. We're all good. There's nothing to be worried about. So we were off for last week for Thanksgiving, also just for a little break, but we are back for the last few episodes of, what is this, 2025? I almost said 2026. It is
almost there.
Oh God, time has no meaning. Like, there's this history does not exist. It is just the present, forever the same day over and over again.
Time is a construct.
It's true, it is. So happy Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to you, Karen. How was your little break?
Mine was lovely. I needed to get out of town, and I did that. And a friend of mine from here in Southern California, she and I both drove up to visit separate friends out of state, but it was nice to carpool together because where we were both visiting were 20 minutes apart. So and I got to spend the week with my best friends and eat a lot of food and just sit around. And because we went in my friend's car, I didn't have a car, so even when I I couldn't be forced to do anything, and I didn't have to feel guilty about not going anywhere because I didn't have a car. I wasn't at my house. Like, I had a list of things to do that I could not do, and it felt really good.
It's always kind of nice. You're just like, I literally just can't do these things, so
exactly.
I'm just gonna not worry about it. Yeah, that's sometimes being prevented from doing things is sometimes really nice.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Well, that is great. Yes, it is. It has finally gotten cold here in New York. Took a long time, but it actually does feel like winter, amazingly enough.
What's the temperature today?
I don't know what the temperature is today. Actually, I think 40. It's not like it was pretty cold yesterday. I will say that. But we've not upstate has gotten hit with a lot of snow over the past week or so. So my parents have been, informing me of how many inches of snow they've been getting. I think they got hit with 14 inches the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
And upstate New York is really bizarre during that period of the year, because I've had Thanksgivings up there where it was sunny and 55 degrees, and the neighbors were deep frying a turkey in their yard. And then I've had other Thanksgivings where it is 14 inches of snow, and it's completely maybe this year, who knows. So yeah, but down here it's much more temperate.
Yeah, this year was super weird where I was too. So my friends live in Utah, up north of Salt Lake, and my one friend Dustin, his parents he grew up in Wyoming, which is only about 2 hours away from where they live now. And so that's where we spent Thanksgiving. We drove over to Wyoming, and it's Wyoming. It's the plains. It's freezing and snowy. You think of Wyoming in the winter. It's like a tundra. And no, there was no snow on the ground. I didn't need a coat. I was like, what is happening? It's almost like the planet is warming up or something.
It's like the climate has kind of, I don't know, changed
kind of, but that can't be it.
There's a shift that's gone on in the weather. I don't know. I wonder what that's called.
What could it be?
I don't know. So well, you know what? This is a good transition actually, because this month we decided, well, we kind of decided to do sort of a grab bag, because we've had a lot of themes for the past few months, and this time it's basically like films that we want to watch, honestly. And films that we want to talk about. And I'm excited for our first one, actually, because I had not seen it before. And it's a holiday classic. It is a Thanksgiving movie, so that's why I'm saying it's a good transition. So we're going to talk about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles from 1987, starring, of course, the always brilliant and hilarious John Candy, and the also always brilliant and hilarious, but basically playing the straight man for a good bit of this film, Steve Martin. So, before we get started on all of this, like, what are your feelings around Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Karen? Because you were the one that had originally suggested this.
I was, and I actually just wanted to just point out or explain that for this month, this grab bag that we decided, I picked one for you that you hadn't seen. You have chosen a film for me that I haven't seen, and then we picked one that was new to both of us. So that's what we're doing this month. And I think it's I like when we do this, and I think we should do this more often. But yeah, no, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles it's actually kind of funny because it did come out in 1987. I was 10, and I remember this being on TV all the time. So I watched it as a kid. I used to watch this every year. I loved this movie. It wasn't until I was an adult that I rented it one time, and I never knew that it was rated R. And I'm like watching it, and some of the language, I was like, what is happening? Because I had only ever seen it on TV. And now I watch it and I go, oh, this is actually really tame by today's standards. But anyway, no, I love this movie because first of all, I just enjoy the concept of odd couples, odd pairings of people that shouldn't be hanging out together, that have nothing in common, and under normal circumstances would never even have met. And in this case, you have these two people that are just suddenly kind of thrown into this chaos of holiday travel. They both have somewhere to get, and everything goes wrong. And I really enjoy it. And I love this pairing of Steve Martin and John Candy, two of my very favorite comedic actors ever. I really miss John Candy, and in fact, I think we should do a John Candy series at some point because I just love him. But yeah, that's overall what kind of basically what I love about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
It's a really, it is one of those films that was on television all the time. Like, I honestly think that one of the reasons why I have never seen the entirety of this film is because it was on TV so much. So I just would I've seen pieces of it, right? And it's always kind of been in the back of my brain. Comes out in 1987. I was 1 year old when this movie came out, so it was not a staple of my childhood or anything. And yeah, it was just on TV so much. It was like constant. And somehow I managed to never actually watch the whole thing. So yeah, of course, it's directed by John Hughes, which as soon as I realized, I was like, oh, okay, this makes more sense.
Yeah, it's funny because I forgot that it was directed by John Hughes, and you don't actually see his name until the end of the movie when it pops up. And so I forgot it was John Hughes. And at one point toward the end, the score is coming in, and I'm like, man, this has to be done by the same person that scored Ferris Bueller and The Breakfast Club. It just sounded so much like that same score. And then the John Hughes thing popped up, and I was like, oh, it probably was the same composer. And I looked it up. Sure enough, same guy did all of them. Worked with John Hughes all the time. So.
Well, and that's the thing, it's an interesting film for Hughes because even looking at some of the critical responses to it from the time period, this was sort of a departure for him, or people considered it a departure because he was so known for films like The Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller and
16 Candles.
16 Candles. Yeah, all of those sort of teen angst comedies, basically. And this is very much an adult film. It's about two grown men, right? It doesn't have anything to do with teenagers. There's no like, there's not even a teenage subplot or anything like that. It's just this kind of buddy comedy road movie that is also about, it's that, like you said, that odd couple clash of these two men who could not be more different from each other, eventually becoming best friends. And there was a moment where I was just like, oh, just kiss, just do it. Just do it. They come really close a couple of times. Just like, just do it, guys. You know you want to. Like, let's be brave.
Well, it was the 80s, so
Well,
um
and there
but
is like that kind of period typical homophobia going
yeah.
on. There's like a joke where they wake up and they have to both sleep in the same bed. And John Candy just like has his arms wrapped around Steve Martin.
Kisses his cheek a little sweetly.
And they're both like obviously very comfortable. But I actually, funnily enough, I liked the way the two of them handled that, because you do get that sort of, oh, it's so gross. It's just, but then there's also this kind of male posturing that goes on, and it goes on for long enough that it kind of becomes the joke in itself, where they're both like, yeah. They're like, stretching and flexing their muscles and everything, being like, I'm very straight.
Talking about football.
Yeah, no, exactly. So there's that, like, it's doesn't completely, but it slightly turns that kind of homophobic joke on its head. And kind of points out the fact that it is silly to, how about them Bears? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna go all the way this year. Yeah, so I quite liked that little bit.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to just kind of back up and talk about a little bit, with regards to John Hughes and this feeling like a departure from the angsty teen dramas that he was known for up until this point. Because I think from 82 to 86, he had one every year, I think. And which I recognize that a lot of the elements of those movies did not age well. But they're still pivotal movies from my adolescence, certainly, and I love them for a lot of reasons. But anyway, but the thing is, like, looking at Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, even though it's this grown-up comedy, it's a holiday movie, it looks on the surface very different from the films that he's best known for. It also is like, you can see the things that are very John Hughes, so two people from completely different backgrounds, which is something that he addresses in Pretty in Pink, he addresses in 16 Candles, he addresses in Breakfast Club, bringing people together that normally would not interact even. And that's what you have here. And then just the fact that he takes this very funny concept, and there are a lot of really funny elements of this movie, but overall, it's not about just being funny. He actually really gives a lot of heart to this story, and there's a lot of seriousness, and he's dealing with characters that have some really difficult things going on in their lives. And so that's one of the things where it's like, yeah, this doesn't fit the mold of what he was known for with these teen comedies, but it also still feels like, if John Hughes is going to make a holiday movie about adults, this is the movie he's going to make.
Yeah, no, I think that you're right. And I am not hugely well versed in John Hughes films. I've seen Ferris Bueller, seen Breakfast Club, maybe it.
And that's understandable.
Other ones. Well,
they're of their time.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of that generation, I think, that is just like a little bit, several years before mine, and so it doesn't have the same resonance for me as it did for people of your generation.
Oh.
But from what I have seen of John Hughes films, what I like in Planes, Trains, Automobiles, and I kind of should have expected it, but also I didn't, is that there is a lot of just not comedy. Like, the conflict between Neal, played by Steve Martin, and Dell, played by John Candy, is serious in a lot of ways. Like, at one point, the Neal is just like excoriating this man who, by the way, has like basically been trying to help him the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens even very early in the film where you're just like, I don't like you. It's just like you're annoyed, like, and it's quite mean actually, and it's not really played for laughs. It's not
Right.
like, oh, haha, this guy who's so obnoxious. And John Candy has this wonderful speech about, saying, you don't have to like me, but I like me, right? I like who I am. My wife likes me. My clients and my friends like me. Like there is this sort of, there's this conflict between the two of them, but it is just like people like him. Like everybody that he speaks to likes him.
Mm-hmm.
He's friendly. He's nice. Is he annoying also? Absolutely. But also everybody's annoying,
Yeah.
And part of his annoyingness is actually that's like part and parcel of the friendliness, of the like willingness to continuously put yourself out there and talk to other people and try to, find common ground and all of that. And it can just be like, oh my God, please just leave me alone sometimes with people like that. But it's also it has an underlying kindness and friendliness and desire to connect with others. And that's also part of what the Neal learns over the course of the film, is how to make those connections and to go with the flow, to accept that shit's gonna go wrong, and you can either resist the shit going wrong and be unhappy with it, or you can begin to laugh at it.
Right.
Be like, yep, we're stuck in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The car just caught on fire.
Oh my gosh, that scene.
Yeah, I really want to talk about that whole sequence, because that is the like hands down the funniest sequence in the film. Just
It is.
the way that it builds.
Yeah, let's come back to that in a second, because I want to just comment on some of what you were just talking about. One of the things that I think is really smart about the way that this story develops is the fact that in the beginning, so you have Neal, he's at this meeting and he's got a plane to catch, and you see that he's, we see his ticket, we see that his plane is leaving at 6 and arriving at 6:45. This is a short flight he's trying to get on.
And 45-minute flight. It drives me crazy. Like, it's 45 minutes. Sorry,
yeah, and it takes 3 days for him to get home.
Yeah.
But I think like just right from the start, it's like, okay, if he can just make it on that plane, everything's golden. He's good. His coworker is just like, you should be taking the 8 o'clock flight. Why are you taking the 6? You're not going to get a cab. You're not going to make it to the airport. You should change your plane. And he's just like, no, he knows better. He's like, nope, I promised my wife I'd be home by 9. I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen. And he runs outside to try to catch a cab. And of course, everybody's trying to catch a cab. It's New York City the day before Thanksgiving. And so then everything just starts going wrong from the beginning. He trips over Dell's trunk, and he's in this race for a cab with Kevin Bacon, who is just has this brief cameo. And I was curious about the history of how that happened, but he had just finished, or he was currently filming a movie with John Hughes. Which one was that? Was it For Keeps? I can't remember. Anyway, they were filming a movie together. So John Hughes was making 2 at the same time, basically. And the two of them were friends. And Bacon was just like, hey, I would love to be in that. And so John Hughes was like, okay, here's what you can do. You can be the one that messes this whole story up for Steve Martin. So that's how that happened. And it really is because of their little race. Then Neal misses that cab, and that's really like kind of his last chance to get to the airport on time. But it doesn't matter, because then the flights are all grounded and there's a storm anyway. And then he gets stuck. And the way, like, when you first encounter Dell, you're in Neal's shoes. You're like with him trying to get to the airport. And then you have this guy who, yes, it's John Candy, and yes, he's lovable and so sweet, but he's loud. He doesn't shut up. He has this giant trunk that was in his way, and so it's like when we first meet Neal, even though he's a little too serious, we're on his side, and Dell is
Mhm.
the annoying guy. And as we spend more time with the two of them when they're kind of stuck together and traveling together, even though, yeah, Dell is trying to help him, he's annoying. Like the bathroom, taking up all the towels, leaving his socks to soak in the sink, just being messy and noisy. And it's just like, oh my gosh, this guy is just, oh, I would hate to be stuck in a
Mhm.
hotel room with this person. And so we're kind of feeling what Neal's feeling until that scene where Neal just lets it go and just starts railing on Dell, who's just listening to this. And we, as the audience, are hearing him, and we're like, whoa, dude, that is too far, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where we start to shift even before Dell's really lovely speech. We're because of how Neal is talking to him, we start to shift to defend Neal, like to defend Dell. We want to be on Dell's side. And I just really like that development. And
Mhm.
so it's like we get to spend time kind of rooting for each one, and then being happy when they finally start to work together and start to actually care about each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And to go back really briefly to what you said about that, like Neal is one of those characters who he knows best, right? He doesn't take the advice. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say like, yeah, you're going to try to catch a cab in New York City the day before Thanksgiving at rush hour.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen,
Right.
Yeah, or if
Even I know that.
yeah, it's just like, that's just crazy. Like, that's insane. Don't do it. So like he does kind of set up the situation where he stresses himself out to begin with. But he does that a couple of times actually. Like, and so at one point, they end up landing in Wichita because there's a snowstorm in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dell says to him, you're not going to be able, you should get a room now, because if you wait, you're not going to be able to, we're not getting out of here tonight. You're not going to be able to get a place, right? So, and Neal again just ignores him. It's just like, no, whatever, we're going to get out of here, because he's just like, no, I'm going to be home. I'm going to get home. That's what's going to happen. And Dell's like, probably not, actually.
Right.
And so at each kind of turn, Neal, it does come back to, like, nearing the end of the film, Dell says, like, you have to go with the flow. And I have a great deal of sympathy with Neal, because I am very much that kind of person, just like, no, I need to do this. I need to get home. I need to do the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot easier if you're just like, you know what? It's probably not going to happen. And I should try to make my life as easy and as calm as possible. And part of that is just being like, yep, the car exploded. Yep, the train broke down, at a certain point, just like, okay, fine.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, just to go back to how I spent my Thanksgiving, sometimes you just can't do anything, and that just becomes okay.
Yeah, and being able to, and that's the characterization of Dell, is that he's able to accept that right off the bat. Like, he's just like, we're not going to get home. Like, we're not going to make the flight. It's definitely grounded, and you can be mad about that, or you could just be like, all right, well, we've got to get a hotel room.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting though about the two, and of course we don't learn this until much later, toward the end of, like, actually at the end of the movie. But the thing is, and part of why I think the two of them are so different in their approach, it probably, a lot of it is nature, but also Neal's trying to get home to his family. He has a wife and kids, and his parents and her parents, everybody's at the house for Thanksgiving. And he, in his mind's like, I have to be there. He probably feels some guilt over how often he travels for work, and and it's like, I will be home with my family for Thanksgiving. And Dell, he's so much more go with the flow, but he also doesn't have anybody to get home to. And that, I think, is a big part of the difference between the two. Because I was thinking about myself, and it's like, I think in a situation like that, and I've kind of been in situations similar, not that bad, but where it's just like, well, there's nothing I can do. When I am trying to get somewhere, like this summer, when I was going to my niece's first birthday and everything was just going wrong and trying to get across the country for that birthday, I was so frustrated and I was like, I just need to get there. On the way back, I didn't like, I was just coming home to go back to work. And when things went wrong on the way back, I was annoyed, but I was just like, oh, well, what am I
Yeah.
going to do? You know? So I think that's part of it is one has somewhere that he needs to be and the other doesn't.
Yeah, and well, and also there's that element of guilt. And I think a couple of times Neal talks about the fact that he's not home that much, that he doesn't get
Yeah.
to see his wife that much. He doesn't get to see, he's got 3 kids, he doesn't get to see his kids that much. And so he's because he's constantly traveling. And he has a lot of pressure. You know, he's sitting in we our first meet him, he's sitting in this boardroom, and this guy who's in charge of everything won't make a decision. Right. And he's sitting
Mhm.
there going like, you don't care. Like he's in a situation where no one else cares about whether or not he gets home for Thanksgiving. And he has guilt about that. He has guilt about the fact that his job has taken him away from the people that he cares about. And that's also part of what he is learning is, that his priorities have been out of whack in a lot of ways, and that's something that he needs to learn by the end of the film, is that his priorities need to become the people that he loves and
Right.
not the job that he has, which is kind of it's sort of a very 1980s kind of, we see that
Yes.
kind of moral all the time, and it's very sweet, and then also sometimes it's like, or
Yeah. No, and to your point about this being a very 1980s trope, it's true. I mean, as business was booming, as the yuppie culture and all that was really thriving, you saw a lot of that. A lot of people were like, corporate culture just really shifted in the 80s, and it became like a status symbol of how much time are you spending working, and I
Yeah.
think that what we see even into today in the 2020s is a reaction to that, because now the people that have kids and careers were raised by the people whose parents were not, by the parents who were not home. And yeah, it makes sense that it was a big trope in the 80s. And it's one of those things where it's like, I lived through that, so I don't always notice it because it just is normal to me that like parents weren't there. I remember my dad used to travel all the time for work. And back in those days, we actually would walk him through the airport to his gate and wave as the plane took off.
Oh, I mean,
to be able to do that.
I mean, let's talk about that really briefly, because yes, this is a very 80s film. I mean, Neal arrives at the airport at like 5:58, and it's depicted that he can actually get to his gate. And might actually stand a chance of getting to his plane for a flight that is supposed to be departing at 6. And the whole idea of that is just like, what? That's not
Security
possible.
was much different back then.
That's not possible.
It probably still wouldn't have been, but it definitely was not like it is now, where you have to get there 2 to 3 hours early.
Yeah.
And stand in line forever. I mean, it really was like, you just go up, you walk through security, like you walk through a metal detector, that was it.
Oh my god. Well, and the other thing is just the proliferation of payphones.
Yeah.
And the fact that Neal basically can't call his wife for huge sections of the film. And of course, see, they're just like, man, it wouldn't not work, but it would work very differently.
Yeah.
In a contemporary film or contemporary story, because everybody has a cell phone. And so like, you have to either get rid of the cell phones in some way, you don't have service, or the cell phone dies, you don't have a charger or something like that. But just the sheer amount of connection that we have to be able to say like, I'm late, my flight got missed, even to be able to check the flights. Right. And like, oh, your flight got canceled, or, oh, we can't transfer you to, like, all of those things. Just watching this film, it's just like, oh man, the 80s were another time, dude. Like,
well, even when he's like, I called all the airlines, like nobody would do that now. You just jump online. But as far as the communication, actually, it would be pretty easy to update that for today's audience, because all he needs to do is not have his cell phone for whatever reason. Like you said, it died. Maybe he left it in the burning car. And then the problem is then we don't have payphones now. Like it's really
Yeah.
hard to find a payphone. And how many numbers do you have memorized? So if you don't have your cell phone, it would be very difficult to get a hold of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't know my mom's home phone number anymore because she has a different number than she had growing up. I know her cell phone number and I know my brother's cell phone number and I know my dad's home phone number. Those are the only numbers that I know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know my dad's cell phone number. My mom's cell phone number keeps on changing, which is really annoying. And I know my parents still have a landline, and I know that number because that's been the same number for like my entire life.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely. But it's that you have to. That's a problem that has to be solved, right?
Right.
And yeah, so it would still work, but it works in a very different way. Same thing with like, checking the flights and not, even if you don't have a phone, getting access to the internet is weirdly easy, especially in places like airports and car rental places and things like
yes. Yeah.
but it's just an interesting thing because the other side of it, and this is something that I was thinking about even like in the depictions of his wife at home, we don't get a lot of her, but because she basically has she can't really contact him, right? She doesn't have a phone to try to call. She also can't be that worried at the same time. Like,
right.
because I know that if someone that like I knew was coming to visit me and suddenly I can't get in touch with them via their phone, I would start to get really, really concerned, just like your phone's off or it just is going to voicemail or like I can't, like at a certain point, it's just like something's really wrong.
Yeah.
In this era, like in the 1980s, just like, oh no, I can't call him because I've literally no idea where he is. There is no phone number to call.
Right. Yeah. It's true.
So yeah. So let's talk about some of our favorite scenes. And I think for the big one for me, first time watching this film, is definitely the entire sequence when they're in the car. Like honestly, really
the entire sequence, yes.
Starting from poor Neal not being able to, like, getting dropped off in this isolated parking lot and the car not being there.
Yeah, and we never find out why.
Yeah, starting there and then just going through everything. And I believe that they actually did use up all of their fucks in that one scene where Steve Martin just loses his shit completely.
Yep.
It's such a great freak out though, because it's not just screaming. It's like almost deadpan. Like he is so beyond tired and frustrated and angry. It's just like, I fucking want you to fucking get me a fucking car because I fucking like he just keeps going.
Well, and then when she's just like, okay, well, I need your paperwork. I threw it away. Oh, you're fucked. Oh no. Oh.
And then like he's gonna get a cab in St. Louis to take him to Chicago.
Yeah.
And he insults the cab driver and almost gets run over by Dell.
That's the second time he almost got run over by a car. Because he almost got hit by a cab in New York too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're in the car. They actually have a car. They're driving.
Dell was able to rent a car.
Yeah. They are driving in the middle of the night, and just the whole sequence with like the music, first of all, and then Neal falling asleep, the cigarette,
Dell playing with the seat, first of all.
The cigarette in the back seat. And honestly, this is like one of the things I really like about this film is that there's a lot of moments of just like, I have either had that happen to me or I have feared that happening to me. Taking off your coat while you're driving because you're too fucking hot, and him managing to get both of his arms pinned behind him. And not waking up, like his friend not actually being awakened by this near-death experience.
That's how tired he is. Well, didn't he take something too?
I can't remember, maybe. Yeah, but
Neal took something.
Yeah, and then he like wakes up just like, what's going on? Just like nothing. We're
And they're
just
going the wrong way. They're on the wrong road.
well, and that's the other thing that's like one of my terrors. And it's actually surprisingly easy to do really, really late at night.
Yeah.
Because if it's not a busy road or it's not a busy highway and you just miss something, drive like because that's what happens. He drives back down the exit ramp instead of going to the next exit and is just like driving along.
Oh my gosh, the couple in the other car
It's like
who's like trying to flag them down. You're going the wrong way. How do they know where we're going? He's like, you're drunk.
Just like that entire it's so funny and
Oh my gosh,
so believable.
amazing.
That's part of it is that it's really believable.
Yeah.
Like particularly we've been conditioned throughout the film to know that something is going to go wrong, right? And it's going to
Nothing
get
goes smoothly. Anytime anything starts to go right, it doesn't.
And it's going to get increasingly wrong. But each sort of moment builds on itself. So by the time they're driving down the highway in the wrong direction and they drive through two trucks and then they're like out of the car, they're trying to pick up their stuff and the car erupts into flames.
Well, Neal's like screaming at Dell. He's just had it.
Yeah.
And yeah, then the car bursts into flames.
And it's like, yep, that's the cigarette.
Which we know about, but they don't. They have no idea why the car just caught on fire. Other than that's the week that they're having.
Yep. Well, and that really is the point where like even like both of them just kind of turn around and are like, okay. Sure.
Oh my gosh. Neal just starts laughing. Because like what else can you do? And of course, yeah. Well, and this is where so we actually kind of skipped over the train part, but so we did have the plane and then we had the train, which ended up it's like everything is stacked against poor Neal, you know?
Yeah.
Like he finally gets on a train, he's headed home, it's gonna be great. And then the train has some sort of engine trouble and stops in the middle of nowhere. And then they have to walk a mile to get to somewhere. And then they end up in the car, in the automobile. So.
Oh, yeah, he loses all of his money.
Yep.
They get robbed.
They get robbed in the middle of the night in a motel.
They lose all of their money. They switch credit cards.
Swap credit cards, yeah. So, yeah. So then Neal... So Dell has Neal's credit card, which is what he uses to rent the car that is now on fire.
and Neal has put his wallet in the glove compartment so that he can sleep comfortably. So his wallet is now in flames.
They go to another motel to get a room, and his cards are all burned and melted. Oh man.
But yeah, it's and then that's actually the point. You know, it is that kind of adversity relationship where they've both been through this, right? And that is the point where like, and then Neal's finally like, fine, whatever. They actually really do become friends, and they have that like hilarious. They like get a bunch of little bottles of alcohol, and they're sitting there. They're like sitting in the motel room drinking, and just finally kind of giggling about everything, being like, "This is ridiculous." And I think that one of the things, you know, even though there's a lot of silly shit that happens in this film, it is very relatable. Like people have had, you know, having trips like that, not necessarily where the car bursts into flames, but that sort of experience of like, what else can possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Of this. Like I've told the story about going to Florida with my friends and like us nearly crashing my car through a toll booth barrier over because of a chocolate chip. Like that's actually what happened. Like laughing hysterically, we got there, and my friend who we were staying with came running out. I was like, so glad to see you guys. The air conditioning is broken. We ended up having to sleep by the pool in like beach chairs, one of which was, because it was so hot inside, it was actually cooler to just sleep outside.
Yeah.
And and one of my friends was sleeping in this beach chair that was like on a spring load. So anytime she would relax enough to actually fall asleep, it would like shoot her up.
Oh no.
And eventually, like all of us just lying out there, we knew at that point, we're like, when this is over, it's going to be really funny. Right now it's horrible, but when we've survived this and we're going to survive it, it's going to be funny.
Mhm.
It's that kind of thing. It's like I think
Yeah.
everybody who, especially anyone who's ever traveled in any way, has that kind of experience. Just like, this is terrible, but it's going to be really funny tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we see that with Neal too. Like when he finally gets on the L at home, he's like he's just going home now. There's nothing else that can happen to stop this. He's in his town, and he has time to just kind of sit and think, and he starts thinking about the most ridiculous things that happen, and he's laughing to himself.
Yeah.
And then he starts to realize stuff about Dell's life. But oh shoot, there was something else I was going to say before we get to that ending. Oh yeah, I think one of the things that also makes this movie really work and makes it relatable is the fact that this, like we have movies like Groundhog Day, or I'm trying to think of some other examples where it's this really funny concept, but there's this supernatural element involved. It's like the universe wants you to learn something, so they're going to put you in this situation. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Like Neal definitely needs to learn some things and needs to learn to just calm down, go with the flow a little bit more, be more accepting of people, and he does learn that through this story. But it's just by natural problems happening. It's not, there's nothing forcing him into this. It's just kind of what happened. And I like those sort of supernatural movies, but I like that this doesn't do that. This is just life.
Yeah, it's basically like a life lesson at that level. Yeah, where and you could probably argue to say as this fate or whatever, because there is almost a fateful aspect to it, because they keep on running into each other, right? And it starts with the cab and just escalates from there. They end up seated next to each other on the plane
because he doesn't get his seat that he's supposed to have because he got bumped.
They wind up in the same line in Wichita. Like they keep on kind of like Dell is the one who nearly runs him over when he's fighting with the cabbie. Like all of those things, they keep on sort of clashing into each other. So there's this supernatural aspect that's, like you say, it's not supernatural. There's no like the universe has set this up for these two people. But they are two characters who need each other. And because Dell also needs the connections that Neal provides, because what we learned is that Dell's wife has died
8 years ago.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a home. He doesn't have anywhere to go. He's basically just lives by traveling. And he is this kind, lovable guy who makes friends everywhere, but he doesn't have a lot of connections that are, and so what he gets from Neal is something that he needs as well.
Yeah.
And to have that home at some level, that connection, someplace to go to. And that's also something that Neal needs to be able to provide to someone, that his presence actually does make a difference in another person's life.
Yeah. And
it turns out to be this really wonderful thing that, like you say, there isn't an in-world explanation offered for it where like God or angels or fate or whoever has been arranging these things.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like as soon as you learn your lesson, you'll be free. It's just like, no, this is a terrible, terrible road trip. Terrible. Everything that can happen to you will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I think, part of why it just does feel so relatable, because it just feels like you said, everybody's been through a terrible travel experience. And I think rather than, somebody's forcing this to happen, it's more of a, what could I learn if I were in this situation,
Michael McKean is there for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
So
did you see the end of the credits?
No,
I did not. I have watched this movie so many times, and I had no idea that there is a shot at the end of the credits.
Really?
Yes.
Really? No, I didn't see it. Oh no.
So the boss, like the guy that the client that they're meeting with at the beginning of the movie that can't make a decision,
Uh,
it's still him sitting in this empty boardroom. Someone has brought him an entire Thanksgiving dinner and he's still trying to decide. It's really funny.
I like that. Oh, I wish I'd watched
Uh-huh.
to the end. I don't expect that from 80s films particularly. Like
Ferris Bueller did it though.
oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a whole sequence at the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Actually, there's kind of two, because well, no, there's just one. There's one all the way at the end of the credits with Ferris.
Yeah, I think I'm really accustomed to the like you get the main credits basically, and then you get the post-credit sequence, and then you get like the longer ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll have to remember that. So anything else you want to talk about planes, trains, and automobiles? I did enjoy it a great deal. I think that I enjoyed it a bit more actually than I was expecting to. I love John Candy and Steve Martin. Like I always expect them to be entertaining. It's fun to see Steve Martin in basically the straight man role. And he, throughout his career, he's played both, but he's capable of that kind of little bit of smugness, but a lot of control and everything. And then it's especially funny when he just like loses it. Like just like he's maintained the entire time. He's just like, can't do it anymore.
His physicality when he's throwing a temper tantrum is so funny. And it's also another thing that's like kind of relatable for me. I don't know if other people feel this way, but like sometimes you just do. You want to throw things and you want to just like throw your hands up in the air and stomp your feet. And just he does that so big and it's so funny.
He very rarely yells too. Like it's all physical. It's not like shouting or screaming or crying.
Yeah.
It's like just it's sort of that like waspish self-control on the one hand while also having a tantrum at the same time. Just like we must not make noise, but I am going to fling myself back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yes, and I agree. Actually, watching this movie, I've seen John Candy in a lot of different things, but it did kind of remind me, one, he is a very good comedian, and two, he is a very good actor.
Yep.
And he was not around for long enough. He should still be here.
He died when he was like 43, which blows my mind. Like that's so young.
Yeah. And he, again, he's playing this character that is kind of a big character, like emotionally big, annoying, funny, etc. But like Steve Martin, he can also bring that back down into these really moments of pathos that he feels like a fully developed character. He's not playing a caricature. Yeah. He's not like playing a comic type that we're supposed to laugh at. He makes these kinds of characters. He played these kinds of characters a lot, but he makes them really lovable and sympathetic. And like, I understand this man, even though he probably drive me crazy too. But I feel bad about that. And actually, I don't want him to drive me crazy. I want to like him,
Yeah.
So any final thoughts from you, Karen?
Just watch it. It's so good.
It's very good. I believe it's available on Paramount Plus, and also on Canopy, I think. It can be watched on Pluto, and you can also rent it. So it's available in many different ways.
Yeah.
I did wind up
and watch all the way to the end because there's an end credit scene that I just spoiled for everybody.
So that was going to close us out for this episode. And next week, I'm very excited. I'm so excited. You don't even know how excited I am. I'm making Karen watch Lovebirds, the Rhys Darby, Sally Hawkins film from 2011 that gave me an existential crisis year before. So we will be talking about that next week, and I am thrilled. And I say that, and it makes it sound like, oh, this is like the greatest movie ever. It's just like, no, it's a silly romantic comedy. That's what it is.
And I can't wait.
And yes, it's very enjoyable too, I think. So we shall see. So that will be next week, and then the week after we're going to close all of this out with a discussion of Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out movie. So really looking forward to that.
Woohoo!
And of course, we want to thank all of our lovely patrons who continue to support us and give us some love and keep the lights on. And they are Abby, Audra, Brian, Connor, Estefania, Ferdinand, Heather, James, Judy, Carriata, Matt, Michelle, MK, Monty, Nanina, Noel, Robert, Roxy, Steve, and Sharon. Thank you so much for continuing to support us, guys. And if you want to join their number, we are on patreon.com/citizendame. You get bonus episodes. We'll be starting a new bonus series very soon. And you also get our episodes early, and you get some fun buttons and stickers and things like that.
I wanted to just take a moment really quickly. Sorry, I'm going to jump in here. One of the good things about the Patreon is that all of our episodes, we do release them early, but once they're public, they're available on Patreon too. So when there's a situation like I heard maybe somebody forgot to schedule the episode on Podbean, you can still access it on Patreon for free without having to pay.
I wonder who forgot that.
It was another podcast I heard about that they had that problem.
That happened. Yeah. It's terrible when that happens. It is.
Anyway.
So yeah, go to Patreon.
Yeah.
We also have a Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/citizendame. And we do have our website, citizendamepod.com, and you can get in touch with us a multitude of ways. Our email is citizendamepod@gmail.com. And we are on the various socials. We are on Instagram and Blue Sky at Citizen Dame Pod, and we are Letterboxd HQ at Citizen Dame. And of course, you can get in touch with us individually. Karen, where are you?
I am on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky at Karen M. Peterson.
And I am on Instagram and Letterboxd at LH Business. So that will close us out for this week. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
What? What? You finally did it to yourself. I mean, good luck turning the car. I mean, they're gonna be happy as pigs and shit to see you. How could you rent the thing anyway without a credit card? I mean, you couldn't. I mean, how could you do it?
Oh, I gave this gal behind the counter a set of shower curtain rings. Can't rent a car with shower curtain rings, though. Well, somehow your Diners Club card wound up in my wallet, and I just...
You stole it!
Not exactly.
You stole
no,
my
I swear on
card!
my life
I knew
did.
you stole it!
I did not
you
steal
stole
your
my
card!
And then you rented a car, and then you burned it
I
up!
did not! I found it in my wallet!
I knew you stole it!
I thought you put it there!
Why would I put it there?
Kindness?
Kindness?